Progressivism is a societal cancer. Hello everyone, welcome to the Freedom Alternative. Now, I found this particular story in the Telegraph, and I really thought that I've heard the most insane stories ever, and that nothing could surprise me anymore, but that's certainly not the case after reading this story. Although I've read about very bizarre cases of rape, sexual assault, paternity fraud, and so on, this one really does take the cake. So essentially, we have a lady, let's call her Mrs. X, or Miss X, whatever. And Miss X really wants to get a boyfriend, but for some reason she's quite unlucky. At one moment in the year 2011, Miss X gets a Facebook friend request from a man named Kie Fortune, who claims to be half Filipino, half Latino. Whatever. Miss X and Kie chat on Facebook, and at one time Kie lets her know that he had a car accident and he has a brain tumor and he'll be subjected to surgeries and other treatment that may make his face look horrible for a while. Anyway, after a few months of online and phone flirting, Miss X and Kie agree to meet at the hotel. So Miss X goes to the first meeting to the hotel room, enters in a room with the rose petals on the bed and Hello Kitty bears. From the bathroom, Kie asks her to pick up a blindfold because he's anxious about the way he looks and also can't walk properly as he's weakened by the treatment for his tumor. Miss X obeys and picks up a blindfold. He tells her that he checked out from the private hospital where he was being treated and he will have to go back the next day. So, they have sex and apparently enjoy a good night. The scenario pretty much repeats itself for a few more nights in the next weeks, and then at one moment Kie comes home to Miss X's apartment. And while Miss X and Kie were having sex in Miss X's flat, for some reason Miss X decided to take the blindfold down. And when she did that, Jesus Christ, what a bizarre story. Well, when she did that, she discovered that Kie was in fact Gail Newland, one of Miss X's female good friends. Gail Newland had concocted the whole thing and used a plastic dick to entertain the whole sham with Mrs. X. Now, Gail Newland is on trial for this whole ordeal on 5 counts of sexual assault. Now, I'm sorry, I can't keep myself to be serious with this story. I know I should, but I just can't. It's no wonder that a Telegraph article reporting the story is signed agency. They probably had too many people correcting the article since every contributing journalist probably introduced a joke somewhere in the article. Anyway, okay, let's try to look at these issues more seriously. For starters, the legal claim of sexual assault is a bit far-fetched. The victim, Miss X, was not raped nor assaulted. Nobody forced her to do anything. She consented in full to have sex with Gail Newland. Sure, she thought Gail Newland is a Kie Fortune, but that's irrelevant. She did consent to sexual activity with that individual, and she also consented to the use of the blindfold. That much is a given and is part of the uncontested facts. Secondly, how old is the victim in this case? Is she 12 or 13? Because from the Telegraph piece we are led to believe that she had sex with Kie at least 5 times before the scam was uncovered. And she discovered the scam because she caught her hand into his hair and something seemed off, so she took the blindfold down. But unless she was 13, I think another legitimate question is in order. How come you haven't noticed that you were having sex with a plastic dick? I mean, seriously, if you can't make the difference between flesh and plastic, then there are a lot more things wrong with you than the fact that your female friend deceived you. I mean, can you imagine a man not noticing the difference between actual pussy and a pussy box? But when we go to the brass tacks of this, the case boils down to this question. Should the people who lie to get sex be sent to jail under rape charges? You know, at the end of May this year, I wrote a column for A Voice for Men, a link in the low bar, in which I argued that such cases in which a person uses some lies to get sex should absolutely not be treated as rape cases. Why? Well, because they're not. And, if I tell a chick that I own a yacht and she sucks my dick based on that information, how's that rape? If I shag a dressed chick and suddenly one of her breasts falls off the floor, surely that's embarrassing, but does that mean I was raped because she did not tell me that one of her tits is fake? Or we can take an even more extreme case that actually happened a few years ago in Belgium, where an old man found out that his Filipino wife was actually a guy who lied for 19 years about his sex. Either the old Belgian guy was incredibly dumb, or the cosmetic surgery that the Filipino had on his dick was incredibly well made, in which case it should lead to a lot of worry about those traps. And still, just because he lied about his sex, it doesn't mean that the Belgian guy was subjected to rape. The same applies in this case. Just because her friend lied about her sex, it doesn't mean she raped her. The point I'm trying to make here is the same point I made in the video regarding prostitution. Namely that just because something is morally wrong, it does not imply that it should be illegal. By the way, my video on prostitution, if you are curious about that. I mean, seriously, we can agree, I think, or I hope, we can agree that what happened to Miss X in this case is indeed messed up and also funny. But, it's funny, but it really is messed up. And I can't really put myself into her position because I never have sex with a blindfold, and there's an absolute zero chance of me ever having sex accidentally with another man. But if that were to happen, the instinct would be to kick him in the teeth, not to go to the police. And I know this may seem radical to some of you, but I really think that the so-called victim in this case is, at best, a victim of her own stupidity and naivete. That is to say, she's not really a victim at all, and shares the responsibility with the so-called perpetrator, who may be a heartless, deceiving cunt, but who did nothing wrong at the end of the day, nothing legally wrong. Seriously, what's the real difference between I own a mansion, let's have sex, and I'm a guy with a brain tumor, please put a blindfold and let's have sex? Both are proposals followed by consent to sexual activity, although under false pretenses. Moreover, if we open the Pandora's box that some lies are more egregious than others and start criminalizing only some of them, what we will get is a never-ending debate on which lies should be criminal and which ones should not. We really are better off if the criminal justice system is left out from such cases. So yeah, if I were a juror in this case, I would vote not guilty and do everything in my power to get the defendant out. Not because I give a toss about the defendant, but because such acts should be dealt with by individuals amongst themselves and not by the courts or the criminal justice system. Jesus Christ, what a case. Anyway, with that being said, don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Twitter at FreedomAlternat, and consider throwing some shekelim for this channel. Thanks for watching.